audiobooks and spoken word audio products. Get a free audiobook of your choice at www.audibletrial.com/late night parents. Why Audible? Audible content includes more than 180,000 audio programs from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazine and newspaper publishers, and business information providers. That's audibletrials.com/late night parents.
We had a very rough opening tonight, so we're definitely going to have to edit it. But this is Ted Hicks at Late Night Parents, your favorite podcast, your favorite podcaster's podcast. Happy to be here. It's January 13th. The time could be any time right now, because if you're listening live, it's 8 p.m. at night, Eastern Time. But for most of our archive listeners, it's your time. So I'll just say, you know what? It's 4 minutes past the hour. With that, this is Late Night Parents. You can find us multiple ways. Whether it's on Twitter at Late Night Parents. You can find us on the Late Night Parent handle. You can find me under the real Ted Hicks on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Late Night Parents. You can also find us on the portal, latenightparent.com. And for those of you that are lazy or slightly lazy, lmp.tv is the way to go to check out the website and see what's happening and everything else like that. And my son just gave me a high five, and he's closing the door yet again. So happy to be here. So much going on. What we won't be talking about is the State of the Union. We won't be talking about the Powerball. There's so many different things we won't be talking about. We got a couple of articles that we're going to cover tonight, primarily health coaching, and we're going to talk with Dr. Diane Hoppe, and we're also going to talk with Paula from Ultimate Ears. She was present at CES, Computer Electronics Show, last week. She saw all the latest and greatest gadgets and everything that's happening at CES. We had last week, was that last week or was that the week before? No, that was last week. Now, Nickel joined us live from CES. So, lots happening. I'm not sure how your day is going or your evening is going, if it's even crazier or could have been as crazy as mine, but hope it wasn't. Hope things were going great. Had a pretty interesting week. I would say any week is an interesting week for me. Always the latest and greatest of things that are happening in all worlds, because like I said, we talk every week about the latest trends in parenting, technology, education, sports, and product reviews. We touch upon, you name it, is the topic. I guess I'm going to say I'm currently in flux in regards with technology. I don't know if CES itself has had everyone. I don't know if it's like a technology overload, or if dealing with your daily devices and everything that's flashing in front of you is giving you some type of overload. So, but either way, I will say for myself, I'm in flux. You know what? Before I start to ramble, before we start to get into anything, I'm usually at the top of the show, top of the pod, I thank our radio partners and everyone that, kind of listens in and joins with us, and we talk about all these different topics. Personally, I can't do it by myself. I have the greatest radio partners in the world. You name it. We're going to go through a few of them. I'd like to thank UNIR One Radio, Mr. Scott Price, my good friend Eric from Life Improvement Radio. Want to thank Tiz Shearer from XRP Radio in the UK. All the sports stations that play us, Mr. Brian Snow, that plays us on Arena Sports Network. Always happy to have my show played, places all around. Want to thank also Mr. Bobby Blackjack, who plays us on I-95 Sports Network. Who else do it? And I go through this every week with the listing. I think there should be one time or another when I write this stuff down, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank NGSC Sports. Ralph, you guys do it the best, NGSC Sports, and you guys also power us on iHeartRadio. I want to thank you guys for that. The people that usually tweet us, we want to say thank you guys to the guys that tweet us through our computer connections, through the folks that retweet us. Jimmy Starr's show, want to thank him. Want to thank Nine that also tweets us. I think it's Malibu Series that also sends us a tweet from here and there. Most of these people have hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers. I'm not really into it like that. I'll say I'm a novice. But without further ado, I want to thank all you guys because you always have some type of input into the show weekly. Thank you guys for the text messages and for the words of encouragement all the time. So I just want to say with that, thank you. And like I said, it's not me. It's all of you that actually make this show, make this podcast. And some of our partners, iTunes, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Blueberry. I want to thank you guys very much. Lastly, but not least, is I want to thank the good friends at the Happy Hour Network. Lee Val, Todd Vandenberg, you guys do it the best. And it all started with Imagination Network. As in Caleb, I want to say thank you. So it's New Year. I'm thanking people. We're all happy. This is the best thing that you could have expected. And now I think it's time that we bring on our first guest. Because I was kind of, interested last week. I've been talking with people lately about various topics and certain subject matter that we want to include for the new year. And one of my friends is, I think he's in a life coaching certification class. He's going to be coming on in the next few weeks, or I think we're going to do something special for him. Tonight, I'll just stop talking. I'm going to bring on our featured guest, Dr. Diana Hoppe. It's all about talking about the growing field of health coaching and providing these alluring opportunities for job hunters, flexible schedules, and an increased demand. She's a founder of the amazing Over 40 Inc. I'm going to bring her on now. Dr. Diana, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Ted?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes out. And thanks for being patient as I rambled through the people that we had to thank for airing this podcast.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was on the right. No, we're being very grateful. Gratitude is always a good thing. Believe me, gratitude is always a good thing.
It is. Dr. Diana, it's a new year. It's 2016. You know, you got so many different people that are burning through their resolutions that they set up just prior, you know, at the close of 2015. And one of the things I wanted to do was take the time out each and every week and thank all the people that air the podcast, that re-air it on their internet stations. And I have to take that time out. So know you were listening to the right station, and I'm so glad that you held on.
Yeah, no, it's all good. And I actually appreciate you talking about your friend who is taking a health coaching class or doing some type of certification, because a lot of people are very interested in this topic, and I know that's why you kind of wanted to go over this tonight so that your listeners could learn a lot more about the whole field of health coaching.
I definitely wanted to learn so much about it because, I've been reading about it for the last, I would say, couple of months, and to hear that it's a $2 billion industry now.
Yeah, and that was in 2012. Those are the numbers from 2012, and
oh my.
We know that it's increased by 38% in the last few years. So if we do like another third of that, I mean, basically you can say it's at least a $3 billion industry.
Oh my. So as I say with all of our lead guests, I'm going to decrease so that you can increase and just make us smart on the world of health coaching. And I mean, your credentials, I mean, they go on for pages. I was printing, and I was like, okay, when are they going to stop? She's an author. She's this. She's a medical doctor. You know, tell us, it's like you said, it is the new year, and it's something, if someone wanted to get into this field, give us kind of like the steps on what to do.
Right. Let me first start with just saying that I'm an OBGYN, so I do a lot of women's health, but coaching program is not just for women, it's for men too.
Wonderful.
And basically the whole reason I developed this program was because I saw the need for people, specifically now, let's say 2016, to really have like a guide, a mentor, a counselor that's going to help them achieve their resolutions or their goals. As we know, when we all set resolutions at the beginning of the year, and what's interesting is 50% of the time, those resolutions are broken within the first month. I saw a statistic on that recently, which I thought was crazy. That
yes.
We make these goals of, let's say, lose weight or go to the gym, and the gyms are packed in January, and then they're kind of less in February, and then by the time December comes, there's plenty of seats in the spinning class. So it's very interesting. So health coaching I really developed because I really saw the need for people to have guidance, and specifically now with healthcare changing so dramatically. We have the Affordable Care Act. We have insurance companies are charging more and more for less and less coverage and less what they do for you. And the doctors don't have as much time to spend with patients, and it's just becoming a real craziness. So I decided to say, what if we actually had regular people, not PhDs, not nutritionists, but lay people learn a program that will help them improve their health as well as improve the health of their family, and then make a business of it if they want to, and take it beyond that and go to corporations or go to your church group or your other, whatever group you have, and become a health coach and help those clients get to their goals. Because we know with a coach, it's much more feasible than if you just do it by yourself. The other thing I think that's really important right now, like you mentioned about 2016, I mean, we have a lot of people who are baby boomers, and those baby boomers want to live a nice, healthy life. And they also want a good quality life. So it's not just we want to live longer, we want to live better. And a coach, a health coach specifically, is going to help achieve those goals. And it's not just nutrition, it's fitness. It's about your sleep. How is your relationship? Now, they're not going to be counselors in the sense of therapists, but they're going to help at least point you in the right direction. And I'm going to have webinars that will help so that we do say what can a coach do and what coach cannot do. But in essence, a coach is going to help guide the client to achieve the goals that they want. And even one way they could be a coach is even go to corporations. Corporations are now getting penalized if they're not implementing like healthy habits in their employees, and they're going to have to pay penalties for that. So maybe one of the coaches would want to go to a corporation that is looking to improve the health of their workers, because the corporation then will save money too. So it's a really financially timely time to do this, and I think people are really searching for help and to guide them to live the best lives they can.
So Dr. Diana, tell me this much. You've really got me excited. Like I said, one of my good friends, he's currently taking his certification, and I hadn't really gone too much into, oh, you taking a certification on that? Oh, okay. And it's one of my buddies. He's long distance now, but we talk maybe about every other week, but we might text a couple of times per week. So tell me, it's risen 38% in the last few years. If I wanted to do that, what are some of the steps? Like, what's the protocol? Am I just able to just go online and say, hey, I want to be a health coach?
Yeah, and actually that's a great question, because there are a lot of certification programs, let's say, that aren't necessarily legitimate in the sense that you could get it like in a day. Okay, I know that when I had one person who got certified to be a Tai Chi instructor, certified in a weekend or something. So there is no real like legislation or mandates about the certification process. And that's part of the reason I made this program, because I wanted to give accurate information and also information ongoing, so that the coaches could learn ongoing and continue their educational realm and share that with their clients, and also make it based on science and fact. So when someone wants to become an Amazing Over 40 health coach, they just go to the site, Amazing Over 40, which is amazingover40.com, and at the site it says, what is health coaching? Why is it a great field now to enter? And we covered a few of those points. It also goes into what does the certification program entail in the sense of what you receive. And you receive the Success Guide, which is a 3-part series about health coaching. And that's where I go over the first part is, why do you want to be a health coach? What is your desire for income? What is your goal? What are some of the obstacles that you might encounter? So it's a very personal development type of the first part, as well as what are your goals and achievement financially and emotionally and basically in your whole life. So I have a thing called the Wheel of Life that I share with my clients, and the coaches will do the Wheel of Life where they assess their lives literally in all different areas, like finances, their home environment, how do they feel about their relationship, how are things going with their health. And I have 8 different fields, and that's where I have the coaches then go to the clients and do those worksheets with the clients, so that they have experienced that themselves, and now they're going to be helping others and looking at their life from a holistic standpoint, because it's all related. We can't just take one part and say, oh, this is totally separate. And, if you're not sleeping well, you can't lose weight. You're not going to be eating healthy if you don't go to the market and buy good food. So I even have like a worksheet about cleaning out your kitchen and then going to the market with your client and buying organic, and what things should be organic, what things shouldn't be organic. And what's so great about this, Ted, is as I get so passionate, is that it is something that's so feasible. If we made just small changes in our lives, it could meaning eat slightly healthier, exercise a little bit, get better sleep, reduce your stress. It's amazing how we could actually change the health of ourselves, our families, and truly the whole United States. And I sometimes think, God, that's such a global thought, but that's really my goal, is to make this a grassroots approach so that people can start taking better care of themselves, because our healthcare system is not achieving that.
Dr. Diana, I have to ask you a really silly question. I don't feel bad about it either. So, hey, I'm going to ask this question, and please, don't make me feel that bad. So when some people say life coach and some people say health coach, are they talking about is it the same topic, or is there, are we looking at something else?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question. It's not silly at all. And sometimes some terms can be thrown around. When I look at what I say health coaching, it is a life coaching in the sense of we're changing their lives. Some of the life coaches don't get that much of nutrition and health in their programs, and some do. So I would call my health coaching like a holistic health coaching, where we really implement the whole lifestyle changes. So you can pretty much use them interchangeably. Some programs might have specific things that life coaches will focus on, like business. Some people go to a life coach to achieve, they want to, I once had a life coach where I really wanted her to help me with my business and what I wanted to do. But we didn't talk about nutrition. We didn't talk about what to buy at the market. We didn't talk about health and sleep and basically all the things that happen daily, in the sense of we really just focused on how do I achieve my business goals. So most health coaches will focus on the nutrition, exercise, sleep, all the things that go into health, but it obviously encapsulates the whole life. That's where the wheel of life comes in. So it's a great question, Ted. I would never say anything bad about that.
I feel like I said, I feel so much smarter that I had the guts to ask that question, and maybe in 2015 I might not have asked you that question. I would have probably sent you a follow-up email saying, "Hey, I didn't want to sound like a
Well, I think
dummy.
It's a great question, because a lot of people are it is confusing, and a lot of times life coaches will focus on certain things in life, not just the whole, but they're focused on your main goal is to get a better relationship, let's say. So there's relationship coaches, right, who are life coaches, but they specialize in relationships. So it's a great question, and I think just to clarify to all the listeners, my health coaching program is really a holistic lifestyle program. So that is, we're focusing on nutrition, exercise, stress reduction, all the things I talked about, because all of those are intertwined, and that's why I think this is such a phenomenal program.
Dr. Diane, is there a certain set of weeks that someone would attend, let's say, one of your courses? Is there a start and stop period, or is it kind of like ongoing?
Right. Well, it's both. So when they go online to the Amazing Over 40 site, they see all the things that they get, and there's also a section called Frequently Asked Questions, which is a really good section that will answer a lot of basic questions, such as like what you've asked already, because they come up and it's really, you want those answered before you sign up for something. So once they feel like they want to go for it and do it, which I hope people will, then they get registered, and there's different ways to pay. There's a one-time payment of $8.99, and I made it affordable because I wanted people to do this. I didn't want to make it $6,000-$7,000, because that would limit the number of people that could do this. The whole goal was to improve the health of people. So I made it a price that was very affordable. But if you want to do payments, because that's just too much to put out at one time, it'll be 3 payments of $333, so a total of $9.99. And if you do upfront one payment, you get all the materials, the success guide, you get my 40-day challenge, which is really helping with weight loss, all the worksheets that I mentioned. There are 35 worksheets. And then you also get a listing on the Health Coach Locator on the website. So you will have a little position on the site so that when people go to Amazing Over 40, they can put in a zip code, and that will then find that coach. And that coach will have a profile, which is, I think, a really cool thing. The other thing is the ongoing. So that's a self-paced program. So if you want to do it in 3 months, you can do 3 months. You can do 6 months. You could do it if you wanted to buy it all at one time and do it over 6 weeks, really power through it. You could. I would suggest taking more time, because I think the first part really takes some introspection, and I want people to be the best coaches they can be. So you could do 3 months. You could make it into, it's really self-paced. It's whatever way you want to do it. And then after you complete the whole program, there will be a quiz, and you pass the quiz. And then after that, you get your health coach certification. Then after that, you're going to be able to listen to webinars even while you're on the program. You're going to have webinars once a month that I'm going to lead. I will be talking with certain guests about certain things, their specific expertise. I will also be giving health tips and business tips out. So it's an ongoing education, which I think is really valuable, because you don't want to just go to a program and then you're done. You want to be able to still have the information being given to you that you can then share with your clients and your family and your friends, so that you are building up more and more of your basically educational reserve and feel more confident and feel like, God, this is a really great program because I'm getting more and more value as time goes on.
That's perfect. So I guess my next question is, and it's probably in the FAQs, so I'll let you ask the next question. What is the most popular question that you usually ask for someone that's like a newbie who's just getting interested in health coaching?
I think the first one is it's really how am I getting clients? Because a lot of programs will teach you facts and give you information, but they don't really teach you how to get clients. And that's in my third part of the program. I actually go over that, and we talk about social media. We talk about doing events at different places. I mean, different ways you can market yourself so that if you want this to be a thriving business for you, you can do that. I sometimes get the question is, well, what if I want to take the program, but I don't necessarily want to make a business out of it? You know, they want to learn.
Right.
There's a lot of people who
Right.
want just the information because they don't
Correct.
get it from their physician, let's say, about nutrition, right? Some basic stuff that what are we learning now that is what we can implement today in our kitchen with our families to get things, basically everyone thriving, right? And that's where this is another option for people, that it could be just something that you get for your own edification. You're going to be taking better care of yourself because you understand what are things that need to be bought organic, what doesn't need to be bought organic, what is GMO, you know, all these things that we get like in the paper you read and you're like, well, what am I supposed to do with this stuff? And so you're going to get the advice and recommendations from a physician about that. And so I think it's really a unique program in that sense also.
Dr. Diana, I want to thank you for taking the time out this evening. You didn't have to. We could have did this. It could have been a recorded podcast, but I want to thank you for coming on live, answering both some of my silly questions and some of my smart questions, because
these are
smart
questions.
The smart questions were from our listeners that had sent me text messages or direct messages on Twitter on what to ask you. And some of the silly questions were from me. But no, they were all smart. So I definitely, before you leave, via social media, the best ways to get in contact with you, with your foundation. I know you're appearing all over the place. So you can also add Dr. Oz. Not only Dr. Oz, you can also add Late Night Parents to your portfolio now. So I know you're really proud about that.
Cool. I'll definitely do that.
What are the best ways to get in contact with you? And if people want to learn more about your foundation, Amazing Over 40, how do they get in contact? I mean, what do they do? Plug your website.
I would first recommend go to the website so they can kind of get a feel about what is this program, would they be interested in doing it, and then go to the frequently asked questions. But if they look at the website, it really has a nice flow with the story of why I started the program, why is health coaching such a great field now, kind of what we covered in our call today, but in much more detail. And then if they wanted to contact me, there's actually an email address there that they can go to, and that will then go to my email. So it's a separate, it's kind of like a business email that goes to my personal email, and I will definitely get back to them about their questions or anything else. But the AmazingOver40.com site is where the really starting point is, so they can start rocking and rolling for 2016.
Anything on Facebook or Tumblr or anything like that?
I do have an Amazing Over. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do have an Amazing Over 40 Facebook page. I apologize. I was just focusing on, the site. I do have a Facebook, and I think I have a Twitter account also. I can actually go to the site right now and tell you what all I'm on there in social media. I know I have Facebook, Twitter. I'm getting there at the very end of the page on that site. I post the fan page. So, yeah, Facebook, Twitter are definitely going. And Instagram I haven't yet done with Amazing Over 40, but Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, great. I will. So what I'm going to do is with your podcast, with your segment of the podcast, I'll make it, you'll have your own separate slot. We'll put it on our website. We'll share it with the PR team. Definitely we have the best PR team in the world. I just want to say that much.
Cool. Good.
Our good friends at newsandexperts.com. Tony, she does a great job. Definitely will thank her in an email tomorrow. Want to give you a round of applause. Dr. Diana, this is the first time that you're on. Definitely won't be the last. Want to definitely stay in touch with you. You also forgot to mention your YouTube page, which is great. Wonderful short snips of, the videos that you have on there. It's really great, easy to watch, easy to learn, and you're doing a fantastic job. And I just want to thank you for coming on the show.
Well, I appreciate that. It means a lot. I appreciate that. And thank you for taking the time and going over health coaching, because I think it's a great, great field for a lot of your listeners who want to pursue it.
Thanks so much, okay?
Okay, you have a good night. Thanks so much. Take care, Ted.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
And that was Dr. Diana Hoppe from AmazingOver40.com. A health coaching certification program for women. You name it, Dr. Diana has done it. Frequent guest on a number of TV shows. Of course, Dr. Oz, and as I mentioned a few minutes ago, she's going to add Late Night Parents to her portfolio. So really excited about that. Really quick, we're going to just do an Audible. We're going to do an Audible promotion. And we'll be right back with our next guest.
Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook of your choice and a free 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/late-night-parents and choose from over 180,000 audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/late-night-parents. That's audibletrial.com/late-night-parents and get started today. Why Audible? Audible content includes more than 180,000 audio programs from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazine and newspaper publishers, and business information providers. That's audibletrials.com/late-night-parents. And
we are back. We had the wonderful Dr. Diana on here talking about health coaching. At the start of the show, you had me just rambling and ranting and thanking everyone. It's something we're gonna try and do for the remainder of 2016, because, like I said, this is kind of like the little train that could, or the little engine that could. I'm not sure, but like I said, there's a lot of people behind this that are pushing us. And with our next person in the queue, we have someone from Ultimate Ears. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with their products, their earbuds, and all the great audio equipment that they provide. We have Paula, who we're going to bring her on now. Paula was present at CES last week. By trade, I'm a techie. By heart, hey, I do love sports and everything else like that. Yes, I'm a dad, but techie at heart. Paula, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Want to thank you for taking the time out tonight. I know this is the first time you and I are speaking, but you have a relative that is very close with, that I'm very close with, and I do a weekly baseball podcast, and that's with Todd Vandenberg and Lee Val. So, Paula, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Paula, I before we get into Ultimate Ears, or maybe we start at Ultimate Ears, some great products. Right now, am I wearing Ultimate Ears? No, I'm wearing the Apple Beats, but I also
Shame on you. Shame on you.
I know. But I use the Ultimate Ears earbuds when I travel on the train every day, because I commute from Long Island to New York, and it's about an 80-minute commute, and that's where I use your products. So
okay, you just redeemed yourself then.
Yes.
They make awesome products. I do have my in-ear monitors on the way to my house, actually. They'll be here Monday. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So tell us, you were at CES. You were working at CES on behalf of Ultimate Ears. Tell us about some of the the new technology or some of the great products that really amazed you last week while you were there?
Actually, I didn't have to work. I went there more to just kind of visit CES.
Really?
I didn't have to work. Yeah, no. It was nice. It was an end-of-year trip that we got to go on out there. So we got to visit CES. I was only there for about a few hours, maybe 3-4 hours. It was a CES. It was my second time there, and I will say it was just completely overwhelming. Have you ever been?
I've never been, but I would like within, the next 2 years to at least pop up out there because by heart I'm a technologist, and I go to the local shows here, but they're nowhere near do they match the capacity of what goes on in Las Vegas.
Yes, you have no idea. To go there, it's spread out over the Venetian Hotel, and you can commute. They have tour buses to take you over to the convention center. And like I said, I was only there for about 4 hours, which an hour of it I spent at the Logitech Ultimate Ears room, which they had some really cool stuff up and coming. But otherwise, you need days. If you're going to go to CES, you literally need days to make it through everything. It's overwhelming is the only word that comes to mind. A lot of technology stuff. There was a lot of stuff focused around fitness, health, and wellness, which I guess kind of follows your last guest you were just talking to. A lot of things
Yes.
were around fitness and health. A lot of things like the watches that track your steps, and now they're putting things on your pets as well, so you can kind of like GPSs for pets, track where your pets are. You're tracking your pet steps. So it was just a lot of mind-blowing products. It's quite an experience to be there. It was a great time, but like I said, I had a very short amount of time there, so I didn't get to really get the full experience, unfortunately.
Did you see the car that looked like a drone? I'm hearing so much from like The Verge and Recode and a lot of the other technology websites. Did you get to see something like that?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, and we went searching for that and couldn't make it to it. That section of the floor was absolutely packed. Like we saw, like in the area it would have been, but you couldn't even make it to it. It was packed in that section. Drones, there was a lot of things around there. No, we couldn't even make it there, unfortunately.
That's good. So was it, I'm guessing that in previous years, it's the Google, the Microsoft, the Apple of the world, but, they have their own showcases. So is it mainly like a lot of startup companies and a lot of new products that we haven't heard of? I know the virtual reality is going to be the thing to be for 2016. That's going to be like, the holiday gift. And I'm going to go back and replay this part, this segment, 11 months from now, because I'm sure that's all I'm hearing about virtual reality. Did you see any of technology like that?
There was a lot of stuff definitely around home automation and robotics. A lot of companies there, it was foreign companies, because we would go to talk to the people, and you really couldn't even quite understand the people working the booth, some of them, what they were saying. But it was there was a lot around that, like you said, a lot around robotics and technology, home automation things that you're just kind of mind blown with. Like, really, is that what's coming next? So there was a lot around that.
So what's new with Ultimate Ears?
We entered the home automation department as well. Ultimate Ears and Logitech, they married up 7 years ago. So Logitech's keyboard and mice company. We came out with, recently, just a couple months ago, we came out with a new circle cam called Logi Circle. It's a home automation camera. It helps keep you connected. It brings your home to your phone. So you put the Logi Circle app on your phone, and you have two-way talk. You to see what's going on in your house from your smartphone. Carry on a conversation with somebody as well at the same time. That way you're not missing out on any moments at home. So that was one of their
Perfect.
newest products out. Of course, we have the UE Boom as well, which is our Bluetooth speaker line, which is doing an amazing job since it came out 2.5 years ago. We have some new color speakers coming out as well. Our speakers are waterproof, so they showcase some new colors coming out. And we have something else I'd love to tell you about, but it's a secret. So we gotta wait. Logitech is coming out with a new product. I can't wait till it's on the store shelves. It is coming out in around April or May.
Is it going to be something that's mind-blowing?
It's something very cool. I will say I was mind-blown watching it. I was like, wow, and I am super excited for it. I'll say for Android phone users, I think I could say that. We're going to be pretty excited. That's coming up next.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. So when it does come out, Paula, I definitely want you to come back on the show to showcase it, to talk about it, because it sounds like it's under, it's still within R&D, like research and development. It's still,
yes,
fine-tuning it right now?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to, I guess we're going to bring this to a close, but I want to say best ways to get in contact with your company, Ultimate Ears, because like I said, great website, great products. Is it just Ultimate Ears on the Twitter site and Facebook and just the standard website?
Yeah, ultimateears.com. You could also follow them on Facebook, Instagram as well, Logitech.com as well, their website too. You could follow them on their Facebook and Instagram as well.
So, Paula, one last thing is just so the people listening to the podcast know. So, was Ultimate Ears acquired by Logitech, or are you guys just merged, or are you just partnering up?
They just married up 7 years ago. So Ultimate Ears, they make in-ear monitors for touring musicians, and they've been doing that for many years now, since 95. So 80% of touring musicians wear our in-ear monitors. Logitech's been around for 31 years.
Yes.
So the two companies just kind of merged together. Logitech was all about making we're into peripherals, awesome quality webcams, keyboard, mice, and Ultimate Ears was all about the sound, the music. So the two companies married up together, to kind of merged together. They do like to keep it separated. They have their own products under their own names, but ultimately they are one company.
And you'll smile because I'm going to send Todd a picture of my wireless keyboard and mouse, and they're both Logitech.
Very good. Okay, you did redeem yourself then.
There you go. Oh my goodness. But I will say this much: two great products. Just one last thing I want to mention: the Ultimate earbuds. Tell me. And I'm not sure if you can or you can't, and my phone is ringing as it rings every week on this show. Someone's calling to find out something. Okay, that's not the way to call. You got to call the show. Okay, but my question for you is the self-molding earbuds, or am I saying this right? The earbuds that you can mold them to. Yes, the custom. So tell me a little bit. Yeah, the custom. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's what I have coming to my home. You actually go to that's what 80% of touring musicians wear, is the custom in-ear monitors when they're on stage. So that's what you do is you actually go to an audiologist. They pump like a silicone into your ear to take a molding of your ear. From there, our ear monitors are made out in a factory out in California. So they take the molding of your ear, and it's literally one person just kind of does their piece, passes it to the next person who kind of forms it around the shape. They dip it into it. I'm going to end up saying it wrong. I'm not going to do them any justice right now. I wanted to say like a silicone dipping. They kind of mold it. They take the imprint of your in-ear, and they just pass it to the next person, That's who puts the drivers in it, who puts the face plate on it, who puts, and it just gets passed around from person to person. but they're made out in California, which is pretty awesome. Made right here in the USA, and they are awesome for sound quality through those. Is absolutely amazing. So I'm super stoked to get mine in the mail this week.
Awesome. Paula, I want to give you a round of applause. I want to thank you for coming on. I know some of these questions were a little. Oh, no, you're welcome. I know some of these questions were a little impromptu. Thank you for being a good sport and answering the questions. And definitely, when Logitech drops their new product, I definitely want to have you come back on, during that March or April timeframe to talk about it.
Absolutely. I'd love to come back. And when you get to CES, you better bring some good walking shoes. You're going to do a lot of walking out there, too. So.
You got it. Paula, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Have a good night.
You're welcome. You too.
Bye-bye.
And that was Paula from Ultimate Ears, who joined us to talk a little CES, Ultimate Ears, Logitech. We talked about drones. We talked about audiologists. You name it. And we talked about my Logitech mouse and keyboard. Logitech, you need to send me a check for this, So, guys, we're getting ready to close out, but there's a couple of articles that have come my way. I want to talk about, is ignorance ruining your retirement? I want to talk about 3 financial mistakes you should avoid during your golden years. So, I'm in my mid-40s. I haven't touched those, twilight years yet, but I'm reaching out for them. And I got to tell you, I think about retirement every day. Yes, for my current employer, for my future employers, I do think about it. I think about it every day. And I don't know if there's a problem or not with that. But the question is ignorance ruining your retirement? So I want to go through 3 financial mistakes, common mistakes to avoid when retiring, because I think about it, Americans are part of an amazing yet curious phenomenon. Most are extremely well educated in their professions and their careers, yet are quite uneducated when it comes to the purpose behind their jobs, which is money. So our society is kind of awash in information about money, but most people still end up making decisions based on emotion and lack of, accuracy, correct and complete information. You got to think about it, because this type of stuff wouldn't matter so much if our retirements weren't on the line. So I just want to go through an example of just some pitfalls people face when it comes to money. And these are the 3 common mistakes they make when planning to fund retirement. The first one is failure to educate oneself. So you got to think about it. If I'm a financial planner, which I am not, but I'm going to say, the average client, the person looking to meet with a financial planner has a full schedule. They have a demanding job, a fulfilling family, and barely enough time left over to eke out a morning jog or catch a favorite TV show after a busy weekend. We all like to squeeze in fun when we can, if we can, but that doesn't mean it's wise or prudent to continue putting off retirement planning or even educating ourselves on it. So you got to think about it. You're looking for a solid base in financial education is essential for having a good retirement. So you got to start small with something like Barron's or Investors Business Daily. Try going to some of these websites, signing up for, let's say, like a daily newsletter. And don't fall for a well-hyped headline, especially if you don't understand the logistics of a strategy or a product. One size does not fit all. So be wary of any silver bullet, financial solutions. And don't be afraid to start from scratch. This way you can understand money the right way. Option number 2 is sleepwalking without a plan. And it happens to all of us. sometimes. We simply haven't prioritized forward thinking. We think about the now. We think about current state. We're not thinking about future state. Most people that I sit down and I talk to, they can tell you about the now. I can tell you about what's happening today, next week, maybe towards the end of the month, and maybe they might. You could. The only thing in future thinking that you can think about is if you and your loved ones schedule like a vacation, or that you're going out of town to go see a loved one or something like that, or like there's specific holidays coming up. Hey, I know it's our turn to host Thanksgiving dinner or something, but it happens to all of us. You gotta prioritize. You gotta forward think. And for retirement, waiting into this period without a plan is going like to the beach and neglecting your bathing suit, your towel, and your sunscreen. If you're approaching this stage in your life with no plan, then there's no use kicking yourself now. Now is the time to formulate a sensible and realistic plan. You got to think about this stuff. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not a financial planner, but I would start. Get yourself a whiteboard, and you start thinking. And if I just take a step away from these three items that we're talking about for retirement, just think about your daily life. So at my desk at home, which I will take a picture of, has all different types of Post-it notes and everything on it, a calendar, the kids' pictures. But that's some of the stuff that I can put up there because I can keep it on my mind. But it's not good to sleepwalk without a plan. You got to be realistic. You have to formulate a sensible and realistic plan. Understand your money and your assets and read up on how you might be able to use them. Here, the help of professional advice could prove, absolutely invaluable. A professional may see the opportunity where you cannot as a layperson. So a good first step in formulating your plan is having a strategy that's designed to preserve your wealth. Hey, folks, you got to think about it. We could sit here and talk about the 1% and we're the 99%, but it's about your retirement. This is only going to happen once. The third option is an inability to fully appreciate diversification. So even though people have learned this lesson over and over again, starting in grade school, many still put all their eggs in one basket one way or another. You got to think about it. If you have your 401k, how do you have it set up? Did you set it up the right way? Because you sit there and you look at it and you say, oh, okay, I have $1 million in there and I'm fully vested. Okay, you should review this type of stuff. So this is especially problematic with finances, putting all your eggs in one basket. I mean, I know it's an old term, but what's the harm in sticking with one financial product if it's working? Many people thought the same way before 2008. A financial portfolio is more diversified among different investment and insurance products that may reduce or minimize your loss during an economic meltdown. So the key to it is spreading your investments across various asset classes. And it kind of refers to, a bunch of investments or a bunch of assets that are grouped by their similarities. These classes include large cap, small cap, mid cap, high yield, international, domestic. And again, just remember, professional advice in this and other areas and other arenas too are advisable. You got to think about this. This is your nest egg. So I always think it's good. It's the new year. You should get with a financial plan, or you should get with someone that can tell you how they're going to help you. I mean, you got to be careful of the people that are going to swindle you. But look, do your homework. Look at some reputable planners in these various places. The Better Business Bureau. You gotta take the time out to do it, because it's not going to help you. It's not only now, but it's in the long run. When you're in your late 60s, and hopefully, nowadays, I mean, today's economy, we're working well into our 60s. So hopefully you've done the right thing over the years. We don't want you to ruin your retirement. You got to be smart. We're going to do a blog about this. We're going to talk about this. We're going to make this a piece. We're going to make this a blog, and we're going to include the audio in here. We feel really, really strong about it. Common mistakes to avoid when retiring. I'm not at the retirement age, but I got to tell you, as I said, I think about it every day, not a day at all. So with that, we're going to get ready to close out. Like I said, we have so many different wonderful people to thank. Paula from Ultimate Ears, Dr. Diane Hoppe from Amazing Over 40 Inc., AmazingOver40.com, the health coaching certification program for women. I want to thank our good friends at UNR1 Radio. I want to thank our good folks at XRP Radio, Life Improvement Radio, Arena Sports Network, I-95 Sports, of course, NGSC Sports that powers us on the iHeartRadio app, Imagination Unlimited Network, and of course, the Happy Hour Network that airs us live and exclusively every week. Late Night Parents. This is Ted Hicks, getting ready to sign off. I'm not sure which song we're going to go with, but I will tell you, I'm going to start off the year. Once again, He Got Game with Stephen Stills and P.E., one of my favorite records. I don't know why, but I'll leave it there. Thank you, guys. Sorry about the rough start, and hope you listen to the podcast. Go to the website. Also, go to Baseball, Beer, and Barbecue. You can see my sports-related topics. You can go to Happy Hour Network. You can catch the re-air, and that's about it. All right, folks.
Yeah, that's right. This cut goes out to all y'all.